Hi, how you doing all? I just thought I'd do a quick video on how I use neutral density filters. Not graduated filters or anything like that, just a neutral density filter to slow the light getting to the sensor across the whole scene. So no lines through the middle or anything like that, it's just a completely dark neutral density filter. Last two YouTube videos I posted, I've been using the big stopper a lot, don't know why, so I just thought I'd follow it up with how I use neutral density filters. Elite Pro Glass IRND 6 stop, absolutely love it. Follow me channel about 6, 7, 8 months ago. I fell over and broke the damn thing, but my lovely wife bought me a new one for my birthday, and this is how I set it up and use it. Basically my lead holder, bad boy slips in there. I find that I always put the neutral density filter closest to the lens. Don't know why, just always bang that bad boy in there. And then when I do add graduated filters, that's another story, I won't bother you with that now. Anyway, basically I turn my camera on, doesn't matter what aperture I'm open, you can see the back of the screen of the camera there, and I'm going to talk you through what I do. So basically I've set the camera up, got my focusing in. It's not the best scene in the world because I wanted it to be nice and quiet so you could see what I was doing. Got my aperture at f11, tickety boot. Got my ISO at 100, and at the minute for that kind of exposure I'm getting a shutter speed of 1/5 of a second. Lovely, it's a boring scene like I said, but I wanted it to be nice and quiet. So if you could picture now that we're staying in front of there's traffic flying by, or in front of waterfall, and we want to extend that shutter speed from 1/5 of a second because it's freezing it too much, all we do is we put our graduate, oh by the way I'm shooting in manual, not AV, manual. Shooting in manual is not an ego thing, it's not a big headed thing, it's just when I shoot in manual, chuck my camera in manual, I set my aperture, I set my focus, I set my ISO, and the only thing I'm left to deal with is my shutter speed. That's the only reason I shoot in manual, because I'm always using graduated filters, neutral density filters. It's not an egotistical thing, it's just I find it easier. If I'm out walking about with a camera and I've got the 70-200 on and just blap 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 taking pictures of animals or people, I'll chuck it on AV, you know, and I'll chuck it on auto ISO and run around at 5.6, something like that. But when I'm doing landscape stuff, I literally get there, camera on a tripod. My aperture is normally between sort of 11 and 16, depending on what lens. Some lenses I've got sharper than others at different apertures, so I try and get the sharpest I can out of that lens. Being in landscape stuff, most of the time I want greater depth of field. So for now, for this experiment, I'm going to put my aperture, which you can see on the bottom left hand corner somewhere, is f16. My ISO bottom right is 100. I've already focused the camera. Now got 1/5 of a second. Oh, see, it's getting dark already. Bright to the right, dark to the left. But this is the scene we got. Let's say like that, 1/8 of a second. But now in this particular scene, we want to slow it down. We want to slow the light down. So what we do, we put our neutral density filter on. Doesn't matter what strength it is. This is the same technique for every strength. See, I've put it on and the screen's gone dark. The only thing I need to do is change my shutter speed. I'm keeping my aperture as it is because that's set for this kind of shot. I'm keeping my ISO set as it is because I don't want to change that. My camera's still focused, especially if I'm manually focusing. Now all I'm going to do is turn my wheel at 1/6, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 5 seconds, 6 seconds, 8 seconds. Watch my histogram slowly coming over. Look, 13, 15, 20, 25, 30 seconds there. So all I've done is put that neutral density filter in front of the lens, and exactly the same settings, changing my shutter speed. Now I can go from, what was that, 1/5 of a second all the way up to 30 seconds. So imagine now if I take a picture, the shutter's going to be open for 30 seconds and it's going to be a perfectly exposed shot at the end of it. Perfect. Now if you want to go over 30 seconds, you can go into the settings. On this Canon EOS R, you can go into the settings, into bulb mode, and you can set it for 35 seconds, 40 seconds, 50 seconds. I find with most stuff that I'm shooting, 30 seconds is inbuilt in the camera, and I find 30 seconds is good enough. Unless I'm doing black and white stuff, real architecture stuff, sometimes I like to go minutes. But that is how easy it is to use the neutral density filter. So you can imagine now, if we're taking a picture of a street with loads of people in it, and you want to blur the people out, you take the shot now, that 1/5 of a second or 1/6 of a second, it would have froze the people in it. But now you're taking a picture for 30 seconds, because everyone's moving in the picture, they're not going to be froze on the sensor. So you'll have a nice street scene with no one in it, as long as they're all moving. Or if you're shooting a waterfall, it will kind of give you that misty, nice looking waterfall or seafront, whatever. So that's in real time. Hopefully that makes sense. Cool. Cheers. Bye.